Happy New Year, my fine aviation enthusiasts. This is Greg. I will be your pilot and captain today in this SAS CRJ900. We are located right here in wonderful Stockholm, Sweden. We are going to be flying towards Warsaw, Poland today, which will be our final destination. Here's our route right here. We're going to be leaving the Stockholm airport, head towards Gelda, head towards the KMI Vortak, and then this will be our departure information. We're going to leave runway 8, fly on a northeast heading to SA 416, and then fly southeast to Babap. So let's get this airplane started. Let's get it up in the air. And I appreciate y'all stopping by. Please like, subscribe, share the video, comment on this video, and we will get this bird rolling here shortly. Alright, let's align the maps and the GPS to our location so we're going in the right direction. So turn both of those knobs straight up and down. Push both of the stab trim buttons and the mock trim button. And then we're going to go up here and push both of the yaw dampener buttons. Now I'm going to set up the FMC and the flight plan before I turn the APU on. So type in that, push the top left button to input your departure. Then you type in where you're going, push the top right button, and then hit the execute button, the EXEC button. I'm going to choose my runway. I'm going to choose my departure. Push the execute button again, and then I'm going to choose my arrival info. So this plane, you got to choose the runway first, which is why it's not allowing me right now to choose my star info. So I'm trying. Most planes you're supposed to enter the star information first, and then now to cycle through those pages, you can use the previous page and the next page button. That'll cycle you through everything. So let me put my runway in and then put it in my... Now there's no transition with this particular one, but if there was, you could choose it there. Push the execute button. Now I'm going to enter my 2 waypoints. I'm going to type them in, then push the button up top on the FMC next to the blocks. If you, for some reason, cannot input in a waypoint, just go back to the main menu, choose navigation, go to the map, and just choose them from the map. To get rid of the discontinuity, push the delete button, which is right above pull and turn, and then push the line right next to discontinuity, and that will connect the route and get rid of the discontinuity. Alright, let's push the APU power button, and then push the start button, and get this APU fired up. Now the APU generator switch is already toggled on. That's just how it's defaulted. You should hear some warning chimes when the APU is fully powered. Those warning chimes are to let you know that the generator is now on and the external power is off. So usually that happens automatically. Usually the APU generator, once that kicks on, it'll turn off the external power automatically in this plane. If it doesn't, then just go up top, push the external power button to uncouple it, and then the generator will kick on automatically. Alright, let's choose our navigation source, and then let's dial in the range a little bit. Use the inner green circle to zoom in or out, and then the 2 buttons on the top left, the BRG buttons, that will choose which navigation source the arrows are generated from. So I usually like FMS and VOR, but you can certainly push those buttons and choose whichever arrows you want to show up on your map. So let's push the right engine first, wait for it to power up to about 20-25, and then move it up to the idle position, and then we're just going to repeat the same process for engine number 2. Let's arm both thrust reversers, and then we're going to turn on our nose wheel steering. We're going to arm that so we can actually turn the plane. That's what that button is there, is for your nose wheel steering. Let's arm the flight director and the navigation. Now that our plane is purring like a lion, you turn off the ignition, turn off the APU, turn on the air conditioning and both packs, and let's set our flaps for takeoff, and I believe we are about ready. Let's disconnect the parking brake by tapping on it. Parking brake is right below the 2 knobs we turned earlier to align the GPS system, and we are ready to roll out. Roll out Autobots. I don't remember if there were any Transformers actually that were airplanes. I think there were a few, but all the really cool ones were Decepticons. But they never said roll out. Alright, let's turn on strobe lights, all our landing lights, and let's get this bird in the air. Alright, let's engage the autopilot, push the speed button, and then for our climb up to 10,000 feet, we're going to turn that up to 250 and sit back and enjoy the climb. Now, one thing we do have to do is, once the speed is set, once I set it properly, we're going to have to move the thrusters back. Let me show you how to do that here. So you see how it says N1TO? Move that back until it says climb. Move your thrusters back until it says climb. Once you get up to the cruising altitude, you're going to move the thrusters back again, and then it's going to change from climb, and then it's going to say cruise. But with this particular airplane, there's no auto throttle setting really for cruising, so you're going to have to adjust the throttle as needed to keep it at the right speed. With this particular plane, when you're at cruising altitude, if you start losing speed, increasing your thrust will not increase your speed necessarily. You're going to have to lower your altitude, and as you're going down to a different altitude, that's how you can increase your speed and then keep your speed from there. So I've had this happen before quite a few times when I was first using this plane, and what I would do is just go down 1,000 feet and go down 1,000 feet by about minus 1,200 VS, and keep your throttle up a little bit, and that should get you back to the right speed. And then once you're at that right speed, just keep your throttle there, and you should be good for the remainder of your cruise until you descend. Alright, so here's our standard terminal arrival today. After KMI, we're going to pick up Sorix, follow that all the way in until we need to make our final turn to the runway. And when we get closer to that final turn, I will put up the chart showing the ILS that we'll be flying in today. If you want to switch between nav 1, com 1 to com 2, nav 2, those three white rectangle buttons on the right, push the bottom one, and that will switch you between nav 1 and nav 2. If you want to enter information in here, you certainly can, or you can enter it into the FMC by pushing the radio button. But for nav 2, I'm setting up the VOR of the actual airport itself, which is 113.45. And then on nav 1, I'm going to have the ILS frequency set up for that, which is 110.3. And then what I like to do to prepare for the landing on the co-pilot side, I will switch to ILS using the nav source, make sure the correct frequency is there, and then from here I'm going to set the actual course. And that will keep it programmed for both sides of the cockpit. So even though this is the co-pilot side and you're entering in this information, when you get back to the pilot side, The same course and the same frequency and all that will be programmed in, so you can switch over smoothly and not have to fumble around and switch courses last minute. Alright, here is our ILS chart for runway 33 in Warsaw. You can see it's a ILS frequency of 110.3 and a course of 326. We should intercept it around 3,000 feet, and we will be doing the Category 2 landing today. Category 3 is when the plane will roll out and flare all by itself, which is something this plane does not do. As you can see in the HUD there, the nav source is now ILS-1, and we have the correct course programmed in as well. Alright, now that we are lining up with the runway, we can push the approach button. That will arm the localizer and arm the Glidescope. Once the localizer is captured, that will switch over automatically. Same with the Glidescope. Once we are at the correct height and the Glidescope is captured, that will switch over automatically as well. And both of those will show up in your display there and turn green. As that green diamond gets closer, it will capture the Glidescope, just like it did right there. And now you can follow this in all the way to the runway, or you can land it manually yourself.
$2,500.
Bear with me for a minute here. I'm going to recalibrate my iPad for the landing. I like to land manually from about 1,000 feet down, and since I have a bit of a belly, I like to put the iPad on my belly, then recalibrate it because my belly keeps the iPad nice and stable. Thank you for stopping by today. Please check out my other videos if you can. Please share, like, and subscribe, and I certainly do appreciate it. Happy New Year to everyone, and we're going to land this bird.
1,000. $500. 400. 300. 200.
100 above.
100. Minimums 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Hundred above.
100. Minimums 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.